Hello again, whiskey friends. It's Kelsey here in the Whiskey Riff Lounge coming to you live tonight. We are going to be doing some Smoke Wagon. I haven't talked about this brand in a while. It used to be one of my absolute favorites. Let's see if it's still my favorite on some of these new private barrels. So let's jump on into this today. All right. Just wanted to catch you up on what is going on. We're going to be doing some private barrel selections today from Smoke Wagon. Now, these are new that have just been recently released. One's a 6-year, one's a 7-year. And as a control pour to see if it matches up with some, I think, the better batches that came out earlier, we're going to do my favorite batch, which was the 5801. I think that's what it was. It's 5801. Yeah, it was the first batch that dropped here in Arkansas. It's in the traditional Uncut, Unfiltered bottles. So this one was actually, if I believe right, and Aaron, I don't even know if he watches this shit, but in case he does, I believe that this one was originally a limited release, but he went ahead and shipped it out to Arkansas because he told them that we were going to get bottles and wanted to keep the time frame. Now, this was 2 to 3 years ago. The first one that we're going to taste tonight alongside of this is from my local here, which is 121.2. It is 6 years, 10 months. Now, I do know that this one and the other one that we're going to try are separate mash bill. One is the 5149. And I don't remember the other one, but I will try to remember to put that into the comments down there below. This one is a 7-year from 5 Star Liquor down in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Both of these were in-state picks. One was a group pick by 5 Star, and then the other one, I believe, was just sent to Arkansas as a pick. It was one of the first ones that we got here locally. So, as we do here, we're going to start with the nose, go through it, and take a break, get a water, come back through the other way. So I'm glad you guys are here sticking around. So let's get on the nose. Now, this is the 5801. This is the oldest batch that I have. It's the very first batch that dropped in Arkansas. So off the nose, if I remember this right. Yeah, this one is pretty rich. It's staying true to what it was. So caramel, real rich and dense, real viscous too. Barrel char on the nose. Oh, fruit up front. God, that's so good. I love that bottle. Jesus, fruit up front. Then you get the rye spice coming in mid palate. Pretty medium long to long finish. It's like my favorite, like super sweet up front and spicy on the back end with the rye. Yeah, that one's a hitter. I think that it has dissipated a little bit since it's been open. I got about a quarter of a bottle left, so there's quite a bit of air that's gotten into this, but it does have the same thing happen with a buddy of mine who had his in his bottle for a while. The nose has kind of dissipated a little bit with the air. The body of it is still there. So now, second sip. Oh man, evens out even more in regards to being a flavor bomb. I mean, you get the sweetness up front, and then it just melds into that spice, and then the wood and the oak come in last. I think the thing that impressed me the most about this particular bottle when I first tasted it was just the sheer volume of flavor that it had. A few years ago, nobody really knew who Smoke Wagon was, and then they kind of blew up and went all over the place. Aaron's done a great job of trying to be innovative, but also keep true to the roots, which I commend him for. They do their own mash bill there for Smoke Wagon at MGP. But this one has a lot of fruit notes on it that I just didn't get on some of their later batches. It's real dense and rich. Now, there are other batches I liked. It just wasn't this. I was expecting this profile to either be somewhat similar or the same, and it kind of grew and evolved into something different as the batches for Uncut Unfiltered were different. So I think as the stocks got a little bit younger, it was probably a little harder for Aaron to keep that same profile. So let's go on to the 6-year first. So this is a 6-year, 10-month. I believe this one is the high rye mash bill, so 51.49. So on the nose, a little sharper, but much brighter notes to it. A little bit more citrus notes through this one than the other one, was a little bit more rich fruit notes. So it is a little bit brighter in those realms of things. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. So what I will say about this 6-year, man, it's all mid palate. It just where it shines. It has a little bit of sweetness up front, but that mid palate just kind of explodes and goes outwards on your palate. The finish is kind of weak. It doesn't finish real strong. It's not that it's a bad finish. It just doesn't have the type of depth of finish like the first one did. I will say the flavors are nice. There's nothing wrong or off-putting at all about this particular whiskey. At 6 years old, if I was blinding this, I probably would have said 4.26. Leans more towards like the 4 to 5 for me, in respect to what kind of depth that a 6-year whiskey is going to have. Again, these are single barrels, so again, you got depth in a batch product that's a little different, where you can add certain barrels to add different things, which Aaron does a good job of. But overall, this one is more bright. It's a little bit more baking spice heavy on the nose than the first one was. A lot more fruit heavy. Let's go on to the 7-year and see how this one. Now, this is a different mash bill. I do not know exactly the mash bill that was chosen for this particular single barrel out of Hot Springs 5-Star Liquors. If you're ever in Hot Springs, check those guys out. Now, this one's a little bit more vanilla forward on the nose. I find it interesting just how different these 3 samples from the same maker are. Again, 2 of them are single barrels, 1 is a batch product, but still. Yeah, it's a little bit more tame on the nose on this one. It's a little bit darker, back more towards the first one, but still really rich on the nose. I'm getting a little bit of fruit notes, dark fruit notes, but not like over like I am in the first sample at the 5801. So let's give this one a taste. Cheers, whiskey friends. Oh yeah. Wow. Just a few months difference, but wow, what a taste difference on the profile. Wow. The 6-year was my local here at Sodi's that was sent to this one. It's a younger MGP product, obviously way different than whatever mash bill this one in the 7-year is. I mean, it's night and day difference. It's actually a little bit closer to the original 5801 as far as how it comes across on the taste and the palate. It's not quite as fruit forward, but it does come with rich vanillas and a little bit of dark chocolate notes on it, which is real different for MGP. It's beginning those type of notes as far as the chocolate part goes. Let's give this one more swig, and then we're going to go back through the other opposite direction. Oh, man. That one is so easy drinking. It's scary. Now, that one, has a proof of 58.34 ABV. The other one, the 6 year, was 60.06, so a little bit higher in proof. And then, of course, the 5801 is the ABV on the other one. So, proof wise, the first one and this one are a lot closer. But even on the flavor profile, those two are a lot closer as well. I'm thinking that there must be a similar mash bill too. Um, so let me take a break on getting this, and we'll talk about a few things. Thank you guys for hanging out. Obviously, we really enjoy all of your support. If you're not a member of our Patreon, we're about to be doing some of these picks that are coming out. So make sure you do that. Hit the like and subscribe button, but also check out our Patreon. We do some really cool picks. So let's get back into this. This is the 7 year. Yeah, that 7 year mouthfeel is really nice. Very velvety and rich. Man, that's a great bottle. I'm glad I got two. Let's go to the middle one. Now, this is the younger one, 6 year, 10 months. So it's not, I mean, it's 3 months younger. I mean, it's not like a drastic difference as far as age goes. But it is a drastic difference on the mash bill, it seems, because it's just coming across way different. This one is so much more bright and forward. Yeah, it's a little sharper. It comes across a little bit sharper on the mouthfeel and the palate. Um, More baking, spices, vanillas, your typical notes there, but definitely a lot younger tasting to me, even though, like I said, there's only 2 or 3 months between the two. Way different. Definitely between the three, the least of my favorites. Um, it is definitely a good whiskey. I'm not saying that in any, this is just my opinion. So I really like the first and the third. It's just more my profile. Now, I will say the younger MGP that is coming out right now, the 5, 6, 7 year old stuff, tends to be more bright and forward with a little bit of that graham cracker note that comes across in the original MGP, but less fruit forward and more like apple. So if you're tasting that stuff, that typically getting those type of notes, that's the newer, younger MGP. This is the 5801 I'm going to right now. So as that's sitting out, it's just getting sweeter. A little bit more of tobacco notes are coming through on the first one as well that I didn't get on the first initial tasting. But I will say some of these batches, like this one and like the 30s and 40s and 50s, man, if you grab multiples of those bottles, I mean, baby them, because geez Louise, they're good. I have an open 44 up there as well that I'm really babying for a while. But yeah, a little bit of cherry and a little bit more tobacco notes on the nose and the palate for this one. So here's the question. When I bought this original Uncut Unfiltered, it was like $52. These private barrels for 6 and 7 years are going for $90 right now. I don't know. I mean, I know the market's changed a lot, but for me, am I going to pay? Obviously, I did, and paid $100 for a 7 year old. It's not awful in regards to the price point, but I know Aaron really tried to keep his price point in a certain place on the Uncut Unfiltered, and then went up a little bit on his single barrels, which he's doing now. There's nothing wrong with that. That's where the market is. But for me, I think that's going to be a little bit of a harder sell going forward. Knowing where the profiles are right now with this age on both of these, obviously I'm much happier with the 7 year than the 6 year and 10 months. It's just more my profile. Neither are bad whiskeys. None of these are bad whiskeys. They're just different. I like the 5801 because it's always been my favorite batch since I've started tasting Smoke Wagon. I probably have up there probably 13 or 14 bottles of different offerings. I've got probably 8 more backup of Uncut Unfilters throughout the years as we've gone along. So I am a little bit of a Smoke Wagon fanboy. So thanks for sticking around so long, guys. We're going to get out of here. Obviously, the 5801 is still my favorite. I will say, if you haven't tried it in a while, try some of these private barrels and compare them to the older Uncuts. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Which one are your favorite batches and why? Thanks so much, guys, for sticking around. We will be going live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends,